Hi there, Paul Joy here. I just wanted to show you a couple of things which I've been asked about a few times on my blog, and I just thought it would be easier to quickly put together this video to show you the process that I'm using in Premiere Pro to create multicam edits and how easy it is to do multicam edits in Premiere Pro. Now this is a very simple example. You'll see here in this project I've got an audio folder which contains one WAV file from the Zoom H4n. I've also got just one video file from the 5D and one from the 7D. The one from the 5D is a fairly close shot of my interviewee here, and the 7D is a slightly wider angle filmed at the same time. Now both of these shots have used, or sorry, on both of these cameras I've used a video mic, so each of the cameras recorded sound which is required by PluralEyes because it uses the sound from each track to sync everything up. If you recorded the video without sound, then PluralEyes wouldn't be able to do its job. So anyway, let's continue. So the first thing I'm going to do is to create a new sequence. So we go new item sequence, and for this example I'm going to use DSLR 1080p 25 because that's the format which I've been shooting in. I'm going to call my sequence down here, I'm going to call this one all tracks. Say OK to that. Okay, so we're going to open up our new sequence, and then what we need to do is place the footage from each camera onto its own track. Now in this example, because it's just a simple demo, I've only got one piece of footage. If you had more, what you would do is place all of the footage from each camera on the same track, so you'd have clip after clip on each track. For now I'm going to have one track for my 5D footage, one track for the 7D, and a separate track for my WAV audio file, which we're going to put down here on audio 3. Okay, so as you can see here, nothing's synced up. It's all going to sound a bit of a mess. So the next thing we need to do is to get this all lined up. So let me just tidy this up to begin with. Now, what we need to do, because PluralEyes at the moment can't work with the native Premiere Pro files, we need to export it out to a Final Cut Pro XML file, which PluralEyes will be able to process. So we're going to go up to our File menu, go Export Final Cut Pro XML. Okay, so it just tells us that we need to save the project to continue, so we're going to do that. And then it's going to ask us for the name of the XML file. So for this example I'm going to use PluralEyes, which is fine, it can be what you like, but PluralEyes is good for this example. Okay, so that's done. Next thing we need to do is launch the PluralEyes application. Okay, so that's launched. Next we're going to open our PluralEyes XML file, and that's done. So you can see it's automatically opened up the only sequence in this one, which is all tracks. If we had various sequences in here, you would just have to select the one you want to sync. We don't really need to use any of these options for now. If we have trouble syncing, then we can come back and use these. For more information about what they do, you can either look at my review of PluralEyes on the blog or go to Singular Software's website where you can find out more about these options. For now we're just going to run this, so I'm going to hit sync. This happens pretty quickly. Obviously this is a simple example. There we go, so that's done. I'm going to exit the app. So the next thing we need to do is re-import. So we're going to go File, Import, and then you'll notice that as well as the PluralEyes XML which we created, there's now a new one which is PluralEyes Synced. Now this is the one we need to open because this has got our synced sequence in it. So open that up. Okay, so you'll see over here in our project folder we've got a new bin called PluralEyes Synced. If you look inside there, one interesting thing which is a slight downside to the way PluralEyes works with Premiere over the Final Cut Pro is that by going through this export-import process, it's actually re-imported our bin structure, which is a bit of a drag. I mean, it's not actually duplicated the media, it's basically just duplicated the bin. What you can do is relink all of the footage to the footage in our original bin, which I'll show you how to do in a moment. So to begin with, we're going to open up this all tracks synced sequence. So here you can see this PluralEyes seems to have done its job, but we'll just double check by playing this back to make sure it's all in sync.
Into doing an MBA course about 10 years ago.
Okay, so that's good. So this is all synced up. So now to show you how I go about tidying up these bins, it's quite simple. So what I'm going to do is, you'll notice here on my top clip, this is MVI7401, which is going to be currently linking to this clip in the folder which was imported. What I want to do is relink that to my original. So I'm going to open up my footage folder, find MVI701 and select it. And then simply right click on this one and then replace with clip from bin. So that's done that. Likewise, MVI7798 is my 5D shot, so I'm going to select that in the bin, right click here and replace with clip from bin. And finally we do exactly the same thing with the audio file. I'm going to select my audio file and then replace that one with the clip from the bin. So this is now all linked to my original folder, or my original structure for containing my footage. So I should be able to now remove the duplicate sets that PluralEyes created. There we go, that's gone. So now also I'm going to drag this to my root and delete this additional folder, and now things are looking a lot tidier. So that's the next thing we need to do is to go down here, and I like to just tidy this up. So I'm just going to show you as an example the way I would do this. So I would normally go to the start of where before my interviewee would start talking, which in this instance is around there, and then literally just go down, cut these clips and tidy the start of that up. Now this isn't essential, but it's just showing you the way I like to work. I like to keep things as tidy as I can, and likewise we'll do the same at the end here, and just trim off all of this excess footage. Okay, so that gives us a nice tidy sequence. Now obviously now we've got these synced up, we don't need the audio from the videos to be audible. So what I'm going to do is just click on these video clips and disable the audio tracks which are linked to the video. There's the top one and there's that one. So now when we play this back, we should only be able to hear the audio that was recorded on the Zoom H4, which we'll just try.
Adventure holidays, and we do actually adhere to.
There we go, so that sounds much nicer. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to be able to convert our PluralEyes synced sequence for use as a multicam edit. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new sequence. So we go new item sequence, and we're going to call this multicam and say OK. Again, this is 1080p 25, and that's done. And then simply we're going to drag our all tracks synced sequence into our multicam sequence. So that's done. Okay, so now that's dragged in. The first thing we need to do is to lock the audio track. Now the reason I do that is because if you apply the multicam, or if you enable multicam on this track, it will also apply it to the audio track, which I've found can cause some audio problems. So for me, the most reliable way is to lock the audio track and leave that, because we know that that's currently playing back our H4n audio.
Took a while to actually.
And once we've done that, then we can right click on the video track, go to multi-camera and enable. And there we go. So now by double clicking that, you'll see that the source monitor shows both of our clips, which, if we've done everything right so far, should be in sync. And you can see that they are, even though there's no audio at this stage. Okay, so now we've got our multicam sequence set up, we can start editing it. Now there's a couple of ways to do this. The most basic way would be to simply add an edit point. So we're going to go and cut this clip, and then select one of the clips, right click, and you'll see multi-camera. We'll select camera 2. So if we play this through the edit point, you'll see that now our camera angle jumps.
It took a while to actually come to that decision.
Now obviously we can go ahead and edit the whole sequence that way, but there's actually a nicer way of doing it in Premiere Pro, and I'm going to show you that now. So let's undo that cut. So we're going to do that now. So we're going to go up to Window, Multi-Camera Monitor. Now this launches the multicam monitor, and as you can see here, this gives us a display of our 2 camera inputs, which we can toggle between, and also shows an output which is obviously in sync with our main monitors up here. Editing this is really simple. We can either use the mouse, or as I'm doing here with a trackpad, to select our cameras, or you can use, in this instance, the 1 and 2 keys on the keyboard. Obviously if you had 3 or 4 cameras, then you could use 3 and 4 as well. So we can actually do this live. So the way we're going to do this is literally we're going to start this record on off toggle switch. So I'm going to put it in record mode, and then we're just going to hit play. So as this plays back, I'm literally just going to start hitting some keys. So here we go, we're going to switch to camera 2,
and I came across
that's active.
a mention,
and then after a few seconds, I'm just going to hit the 1 key, and we'll go back to camera 1.
The search, and I went
Simple
to
as that.
Website.
Once we're done, just hit the stop key, and you'll see that that's immediately applied itself down into our sequence. So we close that monitor, come down here, drag through, and you'll see, there we go, so it cuts to the wide shot, cuts back to the close shot, and that's all happened nicely. So it's as simple as that. To be able to edit these points, obviously the same rules apply to any other edit, so we can roll these edit points to get those set up to where we want them to cut, and that's it. So I hope that was useful. If you have any questions, just leave a comment on the blog, and I'll try and reply to you as soon as I can. Okay, bye bye.